Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to be looking at one of the most popular games ever made. And honestly, on the surface, it seems almost unbelievably simple, maybe even kind of boring. But the story behind it, oh, it's anything but.
So get this. Within just 5 months of launching, a game called Grow a Garden hit a peak of nearly 22 million people playing at the same time. Now, to give you an idea of just how huge that is, that's more concurrent players than the top 10 games on Steam combined. It's just an insane number.
But here's the crazy part, the real paradox. The gameplay itself is, well, the digital version of watching paint dry. Seriously, you plant seeds, you wait, and then you harvest. That's pretty much the whole thing. And yet, when you ask the community, they all describe it with the same exact word, addictive.
So how on earth is this possible? How can a game that seems so boring, made by a teenager in just a few days, capture the attention of millions and millions of people? Well, that's the core question we're going to break down right now.
Here's how we're going to do it. We'll look at 5 key pieces of the puzzle. First, we'll cover its wild origin story. Then, we'll decode the core gameplay that makes it tick. After that, we'll dive into the psychology it uses to hook you. Then we'll look at its social engineering. And finally, we'll figure out what this all tells us about the future of entertainment.
All right, so first up, the phenomenon. This whole thing didn't start in some massive high-tech studio. Nope, it started as a tiny project by a single teenager.
And the game's journey was just unbelievably fast. It all kicked off in March 2025, created by a 16-year-old who literally said he built the first version in, like, 3 days. By April, it was blowing up so much, he gave half of it to pro developers just to handle the scale. And by August, bam, it hit that mind-boggling 22 million player peak.
So, okay, how does the game actually work? What's the first secret ingredient in its addictive design? Well, it all comes down to one really powerful idea that's baked right into its core. So on the surface, the gameplay loop could not be simpler, right? It's just a 4-step process that you can repeat forever. Buy seeds, plant them, harvest them, sell them. This cycle gives you this constant, predictable feeling of progress. But see, a predictable loop gets old fast. So the designers threw in a brilliant little twist.
You know, a simple loop just gets boring. And it turns out a French sociologist named Roger Caillois basically hit the nail on the head way back in 1958. He said that without uncertainty, play just stops. And this is exactly where Grow a Garden introduces its first hook.
This right here, this is where they inject that uncertainty, using something called a gotcha mechanic. See, the common seeds, they restock like clockwork. But the rare, super valuable seeds, they only have a chance of showing up. Like that coveted burning bud seed, it might only have a tiny 0.3% chance of appearing. And just like that, a boring little shop turns into a slot machine, making you check back over and over and over, just hoping you'll get lucky.
But look, this game isn't just about random luck. Oh no, it is a masterclass in psychological design. It's aimed squarely at turning simple play into a deeply ingrained habit. This whole thing is based on a framework called the Hook model. It was developed by a guy named Nir Eyal for building habit-forming products. And listen to this, the goal isn't to be fun. The goal is addiction. It has 4 steps: trigger, action, variable reward, and investment. And Grow a Garden just nails every single one of them.
The first hook, the trigger, is a powerful one. FOMO, the fear of missing out. Just look at these massive spikes in the player count. They line up perfectly with game updates. The developers market these as can't-miss, limited-time events with exclusive stuff, which makes you feel like you're going to lose out big time if you're not there.
The game also works hard to keep you logged in. You've got these random weather events, like thunderstorms, that can mutate your crops and make them worth a fortune. But, and this is a big but, only if you're actively playing. If you log off, you might miss that giant payout. It basically punishes you for being away.
But here it is, the true masterstroke, the final part of the Hook model, investment. When you plant those seeds, you're investing your time and effort. The game then takes that investment and grows it for you, even when you're offline. This creates this powerful psychological need to come back, to check on your investment, to harvest your rewards, and make sure the game is never really out of your mind.
So beyond just getting inside your head, the game is also engineered to use social dynamics, to use your friends to fuel its own growth.
The whole garden system is perfect for this. It encourages you to show off your rare plants and compete with your friends over who's got the most cash. This targets the 2 biggest types of players out there:
Achievers, who love to accumulate stuff and status, and socializers, who are there for the community. And together, that's over 90% of all gamers.
What's really fascinating, or maybe a little cynical depending on how you look at it, is how every single positive thing you feel while playing is also a direct benefit to the developers. You think the gameplay is relaxing? Great, that keeps you playing longer. Feel like decorating your garden is self-expression? Perfect, that makes you more invested. Even getting a friend bonus isn't just for you. It's a tool to get you to bring more players into the game.
All right, so let's zoom out. What does the unbelievable success of a game like this really tell us about modern entertainment and this fierce battle for our attention?
Well, if we look at games as art, something focused on story or skill or beauty, then honestly, Grow a Garden probably doesn't deserve its popularity. But that's because it's not playing that game. It's not trying to be art, it's designed from the ground up to be a product.
And when you judge it as a product, its success is undeniable. The goal isn't fun, not really. The goal is to be a maximally optimized habit-forming machine designed to capture and hold on to your attention. And at that job, it is an absolute flawless success. The success of this game proves you don't need a billion-dollar budget or mind-blowing gameplay to win the war for attention. You just need a clever design that knows how to hijack our brains. And that leaves us with a pretty critical question for our time. In a world where our attention is the most valuable currency, does the most addictive product simply become the best one?